services and the planning things around them. Billions of pounds are allocated to local services using census-based information every year. So that these funds can be allocated in the most appropriate and effective ways, it's important that the census accurately captures everyone in our society. Now, in the past, we have had states or issues where certain populations have been undercounted, and has actually led to some issues further down the line, because sometimes they haven't funded the services that they would have had the actual figures been there. So that's why we're so keen for everyone to take part. The kind of things that the census provides information on and helps the government are these kind of things here. So we're talking about shaping policy, we're talking about allocating resources, we're talking about planning services, and also monitoring equality, which obviously is a massive one, especially with different ethnic minorities like ourselves, where there's been instances of hostility from society. So that's a massive one right at the end. As you can see, I've broken it down to a little bit more. The kind of things that it helps inform decisions and improve lives go around planning development, that's obviously services, infrastructure, public health and social care, so doctor surgeries, hospitals, things like that, housing, education, which is massive for children, transport, and also other services, almost things like factories and issues of I was going to say financial institutions as well that come into it. So these are all the different things that we can benefit from as a country and as a society from the census. So guys, just some census 2021 facts. So I've already said it's going to be on the 21st of March. Now, for the first time, this will be a digital first census. So we are encouraging nearly everybody to fill it on via online. However, we will have paper and alternative versions for those that need it, that may not be as tech savvy or may not have access to it. So I'll get onto that in a little bit. We are going to focus on engaging with everyone. And as I mentioned before, this includes underrepresented and harsh to reach groups, because these are the people that need the best and most fair representation. Help will be available for those who need support to take part online, or even with any other issues they have, like such as disability or hearing impairments that stop them from responding, sorry. So the reason why I wanted to talk to you, and I'm so appreciative for Rabbi David Mason for allowing me, is because no one ultimately knows your community better than yourselves. So what we're really asking is just for people to be aware of the census, talk about it within the community, so that you can build positive relationships with the communities, meaning that there's more people who understand the benefits about the census and are more likely to take part. Ultimately, we need your help to raise awareness and the understanding of the census within your community. So just to let you know, everything will be there. Support will always be there.
1810.
Sorry, I don't know if that was a question or not. No. I just wanted to let you know that we will always be there. We have a massive census amount of staff available. I am myself an engagement manager, but I have community advisors working underneath me. In fact, we've just had someone called Carol join us. She is a Jewish community advisor. She is Jewish herself. She'll be working 25 hours a week, and she'll be specifically focusing on the Jewish community within Haringey, which is fantastic because I myself have to look over 16 key population groups. So to have help on one of those from somebody from the kids is massive. So I can't wait for that, for her to really join and jump on board. This was just to give you an idea of the timeline. I think, being in February, nearly at the beginning of March, I guess the previous bits don't really apply to us, but it's just to let you know that what's really going to happen is everything's going to go live in this first week of March. So you may have already received a small leaflet or a small card. Oh, I think I just went one ahead or two behind even, beg your pardon. So you may have received something like that, or even a larger version of this just coming through the post. That's going to start to really take effect in the next few weeks with, like I said, Census Day being the 21st of March. Now, just to let everybody know, you will have until the 4th of May to respond. So Census Day is the main day, the first day we launch it. So of course, we're putting the effort in for everybody to start and do it on that, because the most people that sign up, the easier and smoother it's going to be. But we understand that not everyone's going to be able to do it on the day, and they may need other people or other support to do it. So you do have until the end of, the 4th of May. So just a few slides about what you'll actually need to do now. This is just telling you what's actually going to happen. So you're going to get a letter on the post. Now, as soon as you get the letter, you can actually fill in the census. So like I said, the 21st of March is the main day, but you can do it previously if you get the letter and if you have time. That's not an issue at all. Now, a lot of people ask who should fill in the census. So if you are in your household, the ultimate idea is there may be 5 of you, there may be 2 of you, there may be 1 of you, but 1 of you can fill it in for everybody. If 5 different people want to fill it in the household, that's not an issue at all. You can do that as well, but you also have permission for 1 person to kind of just fill in the information for everyone. Now, the kind of information you're going to ask for, we're going to ask for, sorry, is going to be information about you and your household on the day. So when you fit in, even if you don't have people that usually live there with you on census day, you should still include them. So I'll give you a quick example. Like, for example, in my family, my sister and I, we live with my mother. So if my sister is away on census day, which I think she will be actually, because she normally goes to the gym on a Sunday, I will fill it in on her behalf because she is a usual resident of my house. Now, if someone is staying overnight on census day, on the day you're filling it out, we still want to know that information because it affects your household, but you can add them as a visitor. It means their information will be treated as someone who's a non-resident, but it will be still good to know the extra features that information that we can get. Right, some of the important things that we don't really want to talk about, but we should do because it is a law. So the law actually says that you must fill in the census. Now, this isn't a scare tactic to scare people at all, but ultimately, I have to give the grim news that if you don't fill it in, you may have to pay a fine. The ONS and the government have the right to prosecute because the census is a legal requirement. The fine can be up to £1,000, and during any time, £1,000 a lot of money, but definitely during COVID times, £1,000 a lot of money. So just to let everyone know, it is important that you fill it in because it is part of law. Now, as I've mentioned, it's going to be an online first census, or you can fill out a FAFER form. Now, the idea being that the reason why I just want to let you know there's a big no-no against the phone number is because it hasn't been agreed what the official phone number is. So after this presentation, I'll keep in contact with Rabbi, and I will send him the official phone number in case anyone is interested. But I think also, let's be honest, these official numbers will be on our literature, which goes out in the first week of March. But just to give you a heads up, it's the only reason why it's blanked out from here. So ultimately, you can do it online. You can ring us up and get a paper form. You can even ring us up and get help with somebody on the phone to help you fill it on as you go along. We have up to 49 languages being supported online as well as on the phone if language is an issue. So there's plenty of support available there. If you are going to do it yourself, what it's going to look like is literally like this. You're going to get a letter with an access code on it. It's going to be a 16-digit code. Now, you need to keep this code to fill in the census, so you should keep it safe and only share it with people you can trust. Because like I said, if you're happy for someone you trust, someone you live with to fill in your census on your behalf, you can do that. But obviously, it is going to be about your information, so you should keep it safe. So how to fill it out? Once you get your 16-digit, you can see there's an example of it on the screen. You're going to go to www.census.gov.uk. It's going to be written on all over the literature in case you forget. And you just type in your access code into the box. It's literally going to be as easy as answering the questions. We believe it's going to take anywhere between 20 to 14 minutes, depending what kind of questions you give us, as well as how tech-savvy you are. And we want you to know you don't have to answer all the questions at once. You can save it and you can finish it off later on in case there's too much of it. As I just mentioned there, so I probably should have said that before I clicked. Once you've finished, you must click submit. Because it's an online first census, we want to make sure everybody does it properly. So it's great if you fill out the whole form, but if you haven't pressed submit right at the end of it, then we won't get that information. It will remain incomplete. Okay, so if you need help for the census, this is the bit where we wanted to tell you there is plenty of support available. So first of all, you can always ask someone you trust, whether that's a friend or a family member, to fill it in for you. As long as you are happy with that, there's no qualms there. We also will be launching our census support centers. Now, again, I haven't brought the address of centers with me because although they have been rolled out, they have officially been put into action. Because of lockdown, we are still not opening them physically. So we hope to do this by the 3rd week of March, but we're still not sure. So once again, I will pass this on to the rabbi. However, what we will do is we will have the census support centers live with people on the telephone and people on online web chat. So you can ring the centers to get help from people that will help you either translate or fill it in over the phone and help you out with it online as well. Okay, just to let you know, that's pretty much what I just said now. I want to say if you want to contact us, you can go to our website. But what I will do to Rabbi David Mason is that he has my details anyway, but being the Census Engagement Manager for Haringey, at the end of this presentation, which I'll share with him, you have my direct number, you have my email, and you also have Carol, the young lady who's going to join us for the Jewish community. You also have her email and her number. So by all means, because it's a smallish group today, although there's quite a lot of people here, grateful for that, you're welcome to have our details. And if there's anything that you feel that you want to ask or pass on to friends or family, please do let us know. Lastly, we want people to know if there's anyone with any hearing problems, any issues, you do have a text relay service. Again, I apologize, the number isn't there, I know, but once I get it, I will be giving it to you. And the last bit, of course, if you need help in other languages, then it's obviously free to phone us and you can get it off of us as well. Right, before I wrap it up, I just want to let you know about your data, because a lot of people, a lot of communities, I suppose, ask me, what do you do with the data? How do you keep it safe? So we want you to know something. We are ONS and we're working on behalf of the government to run the census, but we are not affiliated with the government. We have no allegiance to any political party, and the data itself is kept from the government for 100 years, as in it's data protected. So they may see stats, but they will never get to share it with anyone or get anyone's identity from it. They will just have what the stats show for a certain area. So that's really important in case anyone's dealing with the government or there's any sort of mistrust, because we want you to know that this information is not just kept confidential for 100 years, but even when shared with the government, it's only for research purposes. There are no names, there are no addresses, there are no bits of any identification which are passed over. Okay, so I just wanted to finish on some census facts, and it's just to give you an idea of how the census helped last time. So according to 2011, we had 263,346 people who answered Jewish to the voluntary question religion. Now, this was compared to 259,927 in the previous count. So you can see, maybe not the biggest increase, but it's still an increase there, which obviously the census showed. Now, the breakdown of figures by borough showed that the population level held up largely due to the rapid growth of the Charedi community. Now, strictly Orthodox strongholds such as Hackney, Salford, and Gateshead experienced dramatic rises, while mainstream regional Jewish communities in Leeds, Liverpool, and Brighton suffered a big drop in numbers. Outside the Charedi areas, the borough with the most significant growth was Hertsmere, which I'd actually never heard of until I researched for this, which is north of Greater London, whose Jewish population had risen sharply by a third in just 10 years. So this is some fascinating things that the census managed to show us. Barnet remained the borough with the highest number of Jewish people, rising by nearly 16%, from just over 46,000 to 54,084. So that's a massive rise and the biggest rise in the whole of London and UK at the time. Now, for the first time, Jewish people identified in every local authority in England and Wales. Now, that's something that's never happened before. So the sole district without them, which was the Scilly Isles, now boasted a Jewish population of 4. So it may not have been the largest amount, but there were 4 Jewish people there. And that means that they were in every local authority in Wales. So again, fascinating to know how far the religion is spread and how far people are spread. Now, Shia Spitz, who is the chief executive of Hackney, based charity, the Interlink Foundation, said, "We'd like to think that the work of the community organizations like Interlink to encourage people to complete the census in 2011 paid off and got more households to respond. I'm sure it made a difference." So you can see already, like, the inclusion in 2011 helped back then. So if we could have it now, can you imagine how much more success it would give? And lastly, Simon Morris, who is the chief executive of the largest communal welfare charity. I'm sorry, it's just in front of me, I can't see it. He said, "This will assist us in planning for our services now and in the future." And I think ultimately that's where I'll end the presentation. I think the main idea of the census is for every community to have a fair representation, so that when things like services and planning for the future, school places, synagogues, things like that, religious institutions, that everybody gets the fairest representation and they get what they deserve. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Arjun, for that. Really, really helpful. If you want to unshare your
Absolutely.
screen.
Sorry, yes. There's my screen. Like I said, I'll send that to Rabbi, and happy for everyone to have my details there in case they want to get in contact. Thank you so much, everyone.
Great. Thank you as well, Arjun.